Okay, so I hope most of you are from testing background itself. Anyone from development or non ID background?
Mainly into testing, manual testing.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I mean, I can see. I mean, like many people must be from manual testing background only and wants to move into automation, so learning Selenium. Yeah, that's fine. Even if you are a beginner and you are getting started with automation, that's a really great thing because you're starting at your initial career stage with automation. Okay. So we have mixed audience today. There are many people who have already completed the core Java training and now starting with Selenium. And there are some people joined today as a very first session, like a demo session. So we're gonna get started from scratch. So today and tomorrow's session will be like an introductory session on Selenium and what all components that you'll be integrating with Selenium and what is your complete roadmap, how it is going to work, right? And then after these two sessions, the students who have recently joined or are about to join will be moving to the core Java sessions from next week. So first you'll be covering the complete core Java, and then you'll be starting with the Selenium part. Students who have already completed core Java will going to remain in this batch itself, and they'll be continuing with the Selenium sessions, right? So for today, it is like an introductory part. Tomorrow session, we're going to do some major configuration. So tomorrow session is also important. And before we get started, do you guys have any questions to discuss? Anything that you want to discuss? Any question you want to ask? Anyone? Guys, I want to make this session very interactive so that you will not feel like that you are taking a online session. You should feel like that you are sitting in a class where other students are there, instructor is there. You can ask n number of questions, queries that you have. Let's make the session very interactive. So just let me know if you have any questions, queries. You can type it in a chat box as well, or you can directly unmute yourself and directly talk to me.
So Rahul, how like I started my career as a manual tester, then I moved to the development, then I moved to the Scrum Master role. And now it's been 1 year I'm not working. So how hard it is, like I have some background from the testing. How hard it will be for me to get the knowledge from the Selenium training and show the experience of 1 year and 1.5 year, and then search for appear in the interview for us, automation.
Okay, see, Sonia, Selenium is basically a base for automation. So when you are getting into automation, Selenium is something which is the very first thing you like learn, and then there is a whole big roadmap. So Selenium automates only the UI part, UI as in the website. But these days, companies, they look for UI plus API automation. And not only this, there are some DevOps tools like CI, CD, Jenkins, Pipeline, Git, and then some cloud based things like AWS or Azure, which an automation test engineer must also know. I mean, should have understanding of all these details, right? Although DevOps is which is a separate domain, but these tools we use in automation in Selenium as well, right? So combination of these things, if you put it in your resume, then you should be able to justify 1, 2, 3 years of experience easily. And the best part with you is like you're coming from a development background. So companies generally prefer like the person who is already from development background, then she must be good in the coding part. And in Selenium, that is what we required. Right.
And another thing, another question, Rahul. So when I was starting learning, Selenium with Java, people said that in the market, people either they are going for the JavaScript or the C#.
No, I mean, see, the market is of Java as well as of Python, as well as of JavaScript, and as well as of C#. So it's not like, I mean, still, if you go to Naukri.com or any job portal, you will find 70% of the openings are still in Java. And
Okay.
Java is like a base language. If you know Java, you can very quickly switch to JavaScript or Python within 2-3 weeks,
Okay.
once your
Great.
base is developed. And C# and Java is almost similar, right? So easily you can switch.
Sure. Thank you.
Manish, you don't know programming language, that's fine. I mean, we'll be starting everything from scratch. So first complete core Java will be covered, and then you'll be moving to the Selenium part. Right, the course is specially designed for manual testers. So everything will be covered from scratch.
Rahul, so once we complete Java with Selenium, then we can put our resume as in automation testing, or we need to first
See, Sona, let's say if you're already in, let's say if you're already into manual testing and you have like 3 years, 4 or 5 years of experience, then after learning this course, like and practicing, if you have practiced thoroughly, then you should be able to justify 2-3 years of your current experience in automation easily. That is how you will be presenting in the interview, because we'll be working on live projects, end-to-end framework designing will be there. So you will be capable enough that you can automate any website on your own easily after this course.
Okay. Thank you.
So Rahul, how many live projects we will be doing practically after this?
We'll be doing 2 live projects in the live training, and then there is a course of automation architect, 7 live projects that you'll be referring after this course.
Okay.
So total duration of the complete course is somewhere around 3.5 months. Classes will be Saturday, Sunday, only on weekends. And this is the same time that it is going to remain for the classes. And each session duration will be somewhere around 1.5 to 2 hours.
And Rahul,
So-
do you provide any practice for the mock interviews and all?
You will be provided with everything. You'll be getting a lot of assignments,
Great.
interview questions, resumes, all these things will be there.
Thank you so much.
So 3.5 months is including the Java October sections
Yes.
also
Yes.
that we covered.
Somewhere around 6 weeks it is going to take for Java, and then 7 weeks it is going to take for Selenium.
Okay.
Is manual testing like necessary for Selenium? No. I mean, there are many developers as well who move into automation without having zero knowledge on manual testing. So anyone can learn Selenium without having exposure to manual testing. Okay, any more questions? Anyone, any more questions before we get started?
Nothing from my side. Thank you.
All right, that's great then. So let's get started. And before we get started, the very first thing that comes in our mind is what exactly is Selenium? So this is what I want to hear from you. What exactly is Selenium? Anything and everything that you know about Selenium, just let me know.
It's a automation framework.
It's an automation
Framework
framework.
to automate our testing scripts.
API.
API.
It's an API actually.
For automation of what?
UI, GUI.
UI.
Web application.
Or web-based applications. Just a moment. Web-based apps only and only for web-based application testing. So web-based, and then if we talk about what all like platforms where we generally do testing, we do testing on website like web-based. Then what all other platforms are there?
Mobile apps.
So we do mobile-based app testing.
Desktop.
Sorry,
Backend.
desktop.
Browser-based.
Applications are there. Browsers are web-based.
Okay.
API.
APIs, right? Like we have REST and we have
OPI.
SOAP is almost out of the market. So REST is where we generally perform testing. Any other area apart from this?
Backend testing.
Backend, as in you can call it as a database,
Database.
right?
Yeah.
So
Performance testing.
performance is not like a functional testing. So right now we are talking about functional testing. So like we have web-based applications, we have mobile applications, we have desktop applications, we have APIs, we have database. Any more type of application that you know apart from this, where you may have done manual testing or maybe automation testing? I guess these are the major areas where we do testing, either manual or automation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And if we talk about Selenium, Selenium comes over here just for web-based automation, right? Selenium cannot automate desktop, cannot automate mobile. For any tool that you know for desktop?
UiPath.
Automation anywhere. Software module.
UiPath, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, automation anyway.
Mhm.
Software.
UFT, QTP.
Blue Prism.
Blue Prism is it's a part of this RPA itself. Anything else for mobile?
Yeah, Appium.
Appium, very popular.
APM.
Appium, right? API, have you heard about any tool that covers API testing or automation?
Postman, rest assured.
Postman, REST assured, SOAP UI. Correct. Okay, Vishali is unable to hear us. Let me see. Just I guess just okay. So yeah, for API, we have Postman, REST assured, SOAP UI. For database, like we have different vendors available, like SQL is there, MySQL is there, Oracle is there, MongoDB is there, right? And number of tools are there through which we can write query and we can test. So, but again, if I talk about Selenium, Selenium is only for the web-based, and web-based can also be automated using UiPath, and it can also be automated using UFT QTP. Then why Selenium is very popular? Why not other tools? Why, I mean, if we talk about automation, the very first thing that comes in our mind is Selenium. And even if we go to any job portal and search for any manual testing opening, then Selenium is like a prerequisite these days. So what is the reason? It's an open source.
Open source,
right? It's an open source. Open source means there is no license required to work on Selenium. It's completely free of cost, right? Whereas if we talk about, let's say UFT, QTP, there's a huge license cost for a single user somewhere around 2000 USD, right? And if we go for a concurrent user license of 50 users, then it is going to cost a huge amount. Whereas the same functionality Selenium can automate without paying any single cost, right? But Selenium cannot automate desktop application. QTP can automate web-based as well as desktop-based application. If we talk about current market, then 70 to 80% of the applications are web-based, because it's a time of cloud computing. Everything is on web, right? All major projects are on web, and Selenium is one of the best tools that can automate anything and everything available over web. Right, 90% of the things you can easily automate using Selenium if it is a web-based application, right? Anything else that you have heard about Selenium apart from this?
It supports multi-languages.
So we have got a multi-language support. So multi-language, like it, what are languages it supports?
Python, JavaScript,
Python,
C#,
Java,
JavaScript,
C#,
C#, Ruby, PHP. All major languages in the world are supported by Selenium. What else? Anything else?
Multi-browser support, multi-OS support.
Multi-browser support is there. Multi-OS support is there, right? OS as in multi-platform. So platform like you can run on Windows, you can run on Linux, you can run on Mac, you can run on iOS, you can run on Android, you can run on Firefox, Chrome, Safari, IE, Edge. All major browsers are supported by Selenium. Whereas if we talk about QTP, do you know which language QTP UFT supports?
VB.
VB script.
script.
It supports
Yeah.
VB script
Yeah,
only.
Yeah.
And where VB script runs?
Windows.
Only and only on Windows. It means if you are using QTP UFT, then you are restricted only on Windows. You cannot test your product on like multiple platforms like Linux, Mac. But I mean, client can use any machine, right? He wants that his product should be fully tested on all major browsers, on all major platforms, whereas QTP can only test on Windows. So this is the biggest drawback of an automation tool if it is not supporting multiple platforms. Whereas if we talk about Selenium, like if we talk about the very first language itself, like Selenium supports Java. Java is an open source language, right? Although the later part is little license as well, but the one that we are going to use is completely free. And if you have ever installed Java, the very first message that you're going to see is 3 billion devices runs on Java. So be it Linux, Mac, Android, iOS, any platform that you need, you can install Java on it. And if you are writing your Selenium code in Java, you can execute that code in any platform you want without paying any license. So this is one of the best thing. And initially, Selenium was started in Java itself. So that is the reason, even if you Google around for any query related to Selenium, you'll find maximum results using Java. And then Python is the next important language, like next popular language, you can say. And C#, JavaScript, like demand is nowadays increasing because there are other automation tools that you may have heard about, something called as Cypress. Prior to Cypress, there was Protractor, right? So these tools, they works on JavaScript or TypeScript, right? So there are many companies who have started using Cypress as well. Protractor is now gone from the market, but Cypress is again a very popular tool these days, and it supports JavaScript and TypeScript only, right? So there are many frameworks being designed using Cypress as well. And there is another wrapper which is called as WebDriver IO, which is again a JavaScript wrapper of Selenium, right? So that is the reason you will see some demand of JavaScript as well. But as I said, if you know one language, you should be easily able to move yourself to another language. So I started my career in Selenium with Java. Then I've worked on Selenium with Python as well. Then I've created courses on Protractor, Cypress as well, right? Using JavaScript, Typescript. So it's like if you know one language, another language, you can easily learn, because just if your base is clear, then the only thing you need to do is learn the syntax and use the same approach in that particular language as well. So that is how, I mean, in case you are in automation, then down the line, you'll be practically working on these tools, right? Okay, anything else? I mean, which company came up with Selenium? Which company?
ThoughtWorks.
ThoughtWorks, correct. So ThoughtWorks is the one who designed this project, and a developer behind this project is Jason Huggins, who initially started this project in the year 2004. Now you can see long time back, Selenium was introduced in the industry, right? And he launched the very first version of Selenium with the name as Selenium 1.0, which has got a couple of components. Can anyone tell me how many components are there in Selenium?
4.
4. What are those?
RC.
ID, RC, WebDriver, and Grid.
ID, RC, WebDriver, and Grid. So out of these 4 components, when 1.0 was created, ID was there, RC was there, and Grid was there. And then Selenium 2.0 came into the market. This project was started in 2006 and was officially launched in July 2011. And the developer behind this project is Simon Stewart. And when he launched this project, he was working as a lead developer at Google. And many Google developers have contributed into the development of this project. That is the reason why it is very popular in the industry. Not just Google, developers from big organizations, from Adobe, from Facebook, from ThoughtWorks, they have contributed into the development of the Selenium project. That is the reason why it is worldwide use, why it is very popular in the industry. So in 2.0, the components that they launched, ID was there, RC was also there, then WebDriver is what the major change came in the architecture of Selenium. And then Grid, you can say Grid 2, right? And then we have got Selenium 3 as well. And then we got Selenium 4.0 as well. So what is the current version of Selenium? Can anyone tell me?
6.
4.
4.
Okay.
4.7 something.
4.7.1. Where can we check this? What is the official website of Selenium? Can anyone tell me?
Selenium Dev.
Selenium Dev.
Selenium.dev. So it is selenium.dev. So let's go to this website and see the very first thing about Selenium. Selenium automates browsers. That's it. Selenium is only for web-based testing. Now, if you go to the download part, then you're going to see the current version, the current stable version is 4.7.2, right? Which is officially called as Selenium 4, right? Now, if we talk about 3, the components were ID, WebDriver, and Grid, and then same components are there in your Selenium 4 as well. Then what is the difference in these versions? The difference is the architecture. The architecture of Selenium 1 was completely different when it was designed. Then 2.0 came into the market with a different architecture. Then they have done more enhancement. Then Selenium 3 was launched, and now they have completely redesigned Grid and many other components, and like they have launched the Selenium 4 with a new architecture. Now, what is the architecture behind all these versions? We'll be learning, we'll be studying about these architecture in depth. Before we get started with practical, like the actual coding part, we should be knowing the brief history of this project. which is very important to know, right? Like we talk about, which is the biggest competitor of Selenium? Can anyone tell me? QTP, right? So initially there was a time when QTP market was like what Selenium market is today, right? So if we talk about automation, the very first thing comes in our mind is QTP. So everyone was learning QTP like anything. But now the market down the line, it has completely changed, and you will hardly find openings related to QTP UFT as compared to Selenium. So if 90% jobs are of Selenium, then 10% of UFT QTP. Why is it like that? Why companies are moving towards Selenium?
Because Selenium is open source.
Okay, so cost is one of the biggest reason, right? QTP is licensed. Selenium is open source, no license required, no cost, right? But that's not the only reason. There are many reasons behind why companies are moving to Selenium. There are other open source automation tools as well, but why they are not? Sorry,
platform independent also.
Platform independent. Yeah, platform independent is one of the feature. Multiple languages is one of the feature. Multiple browsers is one of the reason. And the biggest reason is that if you talk about Selenium, Selenium is not a tool. QTP is a tool, but Selenium is not a tool. Why not a tool? Because if we talk about QTP, we get a setup file like a exe file, which we double click on it. It gets installed on our machine, right? The setup is more than, let's say, 1 GB, and it provides you a GUI, a platform where you can do scripting, where you can do record and play. There is nothing like that with Selenium. You cannot install Selenium. You cannot see Selenium, right? No, 3.0, 4.0 are not backward compatible for RC. So RC is completely gone, right? So we cannot see Selenium. We cannot install. You don't get a setup file. If Selenium is not a tool, what exactly is Selenium? It's a framework.
API jar file.
It's an API. It's a jar file. Jar file, if you're working with Java, we call Selenium as a jar file. If you're working with Python, it is available like a pip file. If you're working with JavaScript, there is an NPM package for it. If we work with C#, there's a DLL file. With Ruby, there is a gem file, right? So all these are your language bindings. So these are your frameworks, right? This is an API. Now, what exactly is an API? We'll be understanding that thing as well. But Selenium is not a tool. If it is not a tool, the best thing is, see, what is the drawback of a tool? A tool is like, if you talk about QTP, how many features are there in QTP? Could be 100, could be 200, whatever their developers have designed. Those 200 features you can use, and you can automate your product using those 200 features. If like, let's say when we write test cases, we do a lot of permutation and combination, right? In order to test login window as well, we can end up creating 50 test cases. But for every permutation and combination, the feature exists in a tool, it's not mandatory, right? So for every permutation and combination, you're not going to find like all the features in a particular tool. Whatever developer has designed, you can use those features only. So at times it comes, I mean, like when I'm automating a particular scenario and a feature is not there in QTP, then what I'll do, I'll go to HP. Now QTP is a part of HP. Initially, it was a part of Mercury. So I asked, I'll ask for an add-on. They also sell their add-ons to support that particular feature. Now, add-ons are also developed by developers. If an add-on is there, I can use it. If it is not, I cannot use it. So this is the biggest drawback with the tool. Tool always comes with a limited functionality. On the other end, if you talk about Selenium, Selenium is not a tool. Anything that is feasible in Java, you can integrate that thing with Selenium. Anything. Now, Java is a very wide language. Anything that you can think, you can do it in Java. You'll find a solution in Java. Not just Java, with any programming language. And that thing you can easily integrate with Selenium, because Selenium has got no boundaries. It is not a tool. So even if a feature, a functionality is not there in the Selenium API or in the Selenium framework, you can still integrate that functionality with Selenium using Java concepts. So that is one of the best part of Selenium. And that is one of the best reason why companies are moving from QTP, from UFT to Selenium. Now, and that is the, like, if you talk about Selenium, the name itself, there's a history behind this name as well. So we talk about QTP, like who's the biggest competitor. Initially, QTP was very strong, right? And Selenium market was not that much like the way we see the hype today. So it was not like that much, but the purpose of giving this project name as Selenium, there is a history behind this as well. So if we talk about QTP, we know that QTP was initially a part of Mercury. Now, if we talk about Mercury in general terms, I hope everyone have seen Mercury, right? Have you guys seen Mercury?
Yes.
Where?
Thermometers.
And thermometers, correct. So mercury is basically a poisonous element. If someone breaks the thermometer and intake that mercury, he's gonna die. So if someone intakes mercury, then we will give him an antidote. That is what Selenium is. So Selenium is basically an antidote to mercury. Selenium kills mercury. And that is the reason they have given this project name as Selenium. So to end the market of QTP mercury. And up to such an extent, they are successful as well. Not just because of the cost, there are n number of other factors. So one of the factors we have discussed that it's not a tool. There are no boundaries to Selenium. It supports multiple platforms, multiple languages, multiple browsers, right? And then there are many other things. We're going to talk about it. So now, before moving ahead, first of all, we need to understand what is an API, because we are saying that Selenium is an API. Now, what exactly is an API? What do you understand by the term API? What is an API?
Application
Application programming interface.
Application programming interface. That's correct. That's a full form. But what is inside an application programming interface? What do we have inside API?
Which communicate with the two servers. Two applications library.
Two applications. Okay.
Which has got the built-in functionality which can be used to build our applications.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. So what do we have inside that?
Some sort
Classes,
of data
interfaces,
that
and all that.
Yeah.
We have classes, we have functions or methods, right? In case we are using C#, we call it as function. In case we are using Java, we call them as methods. Functions, methods are same thing, right? We have data members, we have variables, we have whatever that is there in like a complete project. So API consists of that thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got one question here. There are many competitors for Selenium like Cypress, QTP, robots. So what is the strongest feature in Selenium? See, most of the tools are derived from Selenium itself. If we talk about robot, so robot framework is the internal library. It is coming from Selenium itself. Cypress is all in all a separate tool. But again, if we talk about Cypress only supports JavaScript and Typescript. And there, if you have ever worked on Cypress, then there are many things Cypress is currently not supporting, which you can easily achieve with Selenium. Now, there is an upcoming tool in the industry, I mean, which is again in demand these days, which is somewhat, you can say, similar to Selenium. Like if we use Selenium with Java, or we use that particular tool with Java, with Python, like multiple languages are supported, multiple platforms are supported, right? So can anyone tell me which automation tool is that? or a framework. The same way that we use Selenium, we use that particular tool as well. No, Cucumber is a framework. Cucumber, we integrated with Selenium, with API, with Appium.
RPA?
Sorry?
Is it RPA?
No.
BDD?
BDD is an approach.
Yeah.
Form is a design pattern. So I'm talking about a tool like you talk about Protractor, you talk about Cypress, you talked about Selenium. Similar to Selenium, okay, let me tell you the company who have launched that, Microsoft. Can anyone guess the name?
Azure.
Azure is a cloud platform.
Cloud, yes.
We are not talking about
Playwright.
Appium, right?
Playwright.
Appium?
Playwright.
Appium.
Playwright. So Playwright is now another competitor of Selenium. And this is a modern testing, automation testing tool. It is giving a good competition to Selenium these days. So if you know Selenium, Playwright will be like a piece of cake for you. You can easily work on Playwright and add it in your resume.
I mean,
Right? I recently launched a course on Playwright as well, Playwright with Java. And we are about to conduct a live training as well very soon on Playwright with JavaScript and Typescript. And Python is also in pipeline.
Rahul,
I have heard about
Yeah.
I've heard about Protractor also.
Yeah, Protractor is like, if you Google around for Protractor, then they have stopped the development in 2022. They have clearly mentioned that they're not going to do any enhancement in that tool. So Protractor is no more there in the market, you can say. You'll not find much openings in Protractor. So Cypress is what, in case you are moving into JavaScript part, then you should pick Cypress.
So
But one small question. We have Selenium which is supporting a large amount of tools and capabilities and things. It's an open software. Why people will go for Playwright? What is the advantage?
Playwright is again open source. Same
Yeah,
thing
but
with
if
Selenium.
the people are already used to Selenium and they are doing a lot of things already, then why will people move to Playwright if they have comfortable doing things?
It's actually developed on the modern automation techniques. So there are some of the drawbacks. You cannot say drawback. It's like a shortcoming of Selenium. So at times we need to add a lot of weights. We like when you start working on Selenium, you're going to see that for some of the elements we have to add a weight, and then we hit that element. Otherwise, it is going to throw exception. But if you talk about Playwright, then there's an automatic weighting technique in Playwright. So you need not to add like that much weight. And yes,
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and yes, you have to write at times little less code as compared to Selenium. And the speed execution of Playwright is very fast as compared to Selenium. And Playwright, like majorly developers who have contributed into the development of Selenium. So Microsoft has actually taken those developers and then they have created Playwright. So they know the loophole of Selenium, what all like shortcomings or what are loophole, and they have actually fixed those things in Playwright. But again, Selenium market is quite huge. So it's not like that Playwright is actually giving a competition, but it is going to take some time. Until that time, you'll have good knowledge of Selenium as well as Playwright as well.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, like all the things that we can integrate with Selenium, we can integrate with Playwright as well. And like it's the best part is that you need not to go anywhere else to learn Playwright, since like you have already joined as a lifetime member. So you have access to all our classes, the live classes, as well as the complete video library. So whenever we start Playwright in the live batch, you can join that as well. Otherwise, you can go through the video library of Playwright. So till that time, I have covered everything in Playwright, all the frameworks and everything. So you should be able to follow the Playwright part easily. And DevOps, I guess, guys, we started DevOps batch at 6 p.m. India time. So I would again recommend that you guys must attend the DevOps, because whatever integration we are going to do in Selenium for Jenkins, for Maven, for Git and all those things are covered in depth in the DevOps part. So you should attend that session in parallel. In case you're not attending, then you can go through the recordings of those sessions as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we are doing API testing at the same time.
Oh yeah, there is a clash. But again, API is also important.
Yeah.
API plus UI is something like a big demand in industry. So these are the three things. I mean, UI, API, and the DevOps. These are the three things. If you do these three things, then you'll have a very strong resume.
But API batch is stopped, right? So
Yeah, API batch already started, and I guess 5-6 sessions are already done, and then now they're starting with the rest assured automation part.
Yeah, today only we started rest assured.
Today, okay. Yeah, in case you missed the session, then you can go through the recordings, and then from next week you can sync with the same batch. So initially started with the manual part using PostMan, and then now we're starting with the automation part.
So the API session is also going on weekends.
Yeah, all the sessions are on weekends, because all trainers that those are associated with us are working professionals. They're working in the same domain, and they're available only over the weekends for the session.
Okay. Then we can watch the recorded videos.
During the weekdays, you can refer the recording. So you just need to go over here, log into your account, and go to all courses. Should be able to access all these courses. So Playwright, I have not yet added it over here, but the course is already ready. I'll be adding it in coming week. So for DevOps, this is the ongoing batch. And for API, you need to check this section. The Selenium part will be added over here in this particular lecture. So when you go to this, you'll find your section, like just click on start. You'll find your section somewhere over here at the end. So this is the Java batch. The people who have completed Java will be starting with Selenium. And then for the new batch, we'll be creating a new section over here. Right, that will be batch December 2022. So you can refer the recordings from here. Right. So this is how you can check the previous batches.
If we are doing Selenium, so it is necessary to do API at the same time, or we can complete Selenium, do the work live session, and then do API?
See, if you are not in a hurry, then first learn Selenium thoroughly and then go for API. Right, and this is only like in case you want to search for jobs or switch like after, let's say, 3 months or so. Then we just started API testing. So API and Selenium, both are big tools. So if you are able to digest, like, because like the training for API is like 6 to 8, and then 8 to 10 will be Selenium. So if you are able to like digest both the trainings, then you can do it. If you know Java, then you should be able to attend API and Selenium both. Right, but for the people who are just starting, so I would not recommend go for API right now. Otherwise, you'll find it little complex. So Selenium is easy to understand. First, you build up your base for automation, then go for API testing.
In DevOps in parallel.
Yeah, DevOps you can attend in parallel, because DevOps, there is no programming required for DevOps. So DevOps, we just started today itself. So you can, in case you want, you can attend it in parallel. Right, but the combination of these three things is a big demand in the industry. Right? Okay, so let's come back to what we were discussing. Now, there are many things that we can integrate with Selenium. Can you just name a couple of things? What all we can integrate?
Maven.
Maven,
JUnit,
unit, test
Apache.
NG.
Reporting,
Extend
Reporting. Extend reports,
report ng,
report ng, correct.
Cucumber,
Jira,
Jira,
yeah, Jira we can also integrate.
Git,
Slackgate,
GitHub,
Allure report.
Allure reports.
Rest assured.
Rest assured, yeah, we can integrate that with Selenium as well, but rest assured is for API automation.
Okay.
So all these things that I have listed down over here, you can integrate it with rest assured as well.
Apache POI is not the integration, is it different?
POI, yeah, POI integration is required for reading Excel.
logs,
Log4j, Java
it's,
Mail API. For
Rahul, it's log4j2 or log4j right now?
You can use any. I mean, the purpose is just to generate logs. So,
but I think with log4j there was some vulnerability some time ago.
Yeah, but that is like when you're developing something and adding log4j in that. So for general use, I mean, you're not going to face any vulnerability issue.
Okay. So, okay, fine.
Is there, I think, SL4J? Do they use that alternative to log4j?
Yeah, you can use that as well, but log4j is very popular.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
And Jenkins.
Jenkins, correct. Jenkins is there. So log4j, mail, and you have heard about something called as the concept of properties file.
Cloud.
Right? Cloud, AWS can be integrated, right? Something called as Docker, if you have heard about, right? So these are the major things that you can integrate with Selenium, but these are not part of Selenium. Selenium is just 25% in your entire automation framework, in your entire automation project. Selenium covers only the 25% part. The major part is taken by core Java and all these integrations. A framework, when we talk about a framework like data-driven, let's say I have to create a data-driven framework on my live project. I want to automate my live project using data-driven or keyword-driven. Data plus keyword is called as a hybrid framework. We have a framework called as page object model, or we add page factories to it. So these things are now not like some predefined jar file is there or some executable file is there. Like if we talk about QTB UFT, we have data driven available in all the plugins, right? But here we don't have any plugin called as a data driven or a keyword driven or hybrid. These are all design patterns, you can say. If you are reading data from Excel, we call it as a data driven. If we have created some keywords, we call it as keyword driven. We combine 2-3 approaches in one framework, we call it as a hybrid framework. Page object model is a design pattern, right? So, but all these things, your framework consists of all these things. So we integrate all these things, including your Selenium, in one single live project and create page objects or create a hybrid framework, right? But you can see Selenium is just 25%. For understanding all these things, first your base should be built up, and the base is built up using core Java concepts. And it's not like you need to learn advanced Java to work with Selenium. You're not developing anything. There's a library which is already developed. The collection of classes are there, collection of methods are there, which is already developed. You just need to understand the basic concepts of programming in order to call those classes, call those functions or methods. Right? Developers have already developed it. Now you just need to call them and use them in your project. That's it. For that, You should be knowing basic if, else, loops, arrays, basic OOPS concepts, classes, objects, inheritance, polymorphism. You must have studied about these things in your graduation, maybe long time back, right? If we don't practice programming for 6 months, we forget all the concepts, right? So whenever we are learning any programming language, let's say in our graduation itself, if you have studied C++ or C, and if you have not practically used it, then you're going to forget everything. Once you enter into manual testing, you don't do any programming part. So you're going to forget all the concepts. But now when you will start learning core Java, and parallelly you will start implementing it with Selenium, so you're going to see that you have written 2-3 lines of code and a browser is getting launched and all the actions are getting performed. So it will start building up your interest, right? So normally if we talk about programming is a very boring concept, right? But if you practically add programming with automation, you'll find it very interesting because you're writing 3 lines of code and a website is launching, a browser is launching, and some actions are being performed. So you'll find it very interesting. And that is what it will help you in building up your base. And once your base is built up, then you're never going to forget the programming part. You will never going to forget the OOPS concepts, basic if, else, loops. You're never going to forget it once you practically start using it, right? So don't be afraid of programming. We'll be starting from very scratch. If you practice thoroughly in the core Java sessions, you'll find Selenium very easy because Selenium is nothing. Selenium is just basic Java only basic core Java, right? So we'll start integrating. I'll show you some example on Selenium as well today. But before that, let us understand what is an API. So you said that API is a collection of classes, functions, method, because we're talking Selenium as an API, right? So Selenium is a project. It's a framework that consists of a lot of classes, functions, and methods. Okay. Before I jump on, I have another question. I'm doing Android application testing on mobile compatibility, another Android bit. I want suggestion like I need to learn core Java, Selenium, Appium, or core Java plus Appium. See, Appium is nothing. Appium, it's a wrapper over Selenium, right? Appium is generated from Selenium itself. The way we use things in Selenium, like you'll be seeing something like driver dot find element and then XPath and then CSS. Same thing worked with Appium as well. So in case you're using Selenium, you're using some class called as Chrome driver, which is going to launch Chrome browser. For Android, you'll be changing it to Android driver. Rest of the things will remain same. 90% of the things will remain same, whatever that you're going to use in Selenium. So if you know Selenium, within a week, you can learn Appium easily, right? So Selenium will help you in building up your base. Okay, so now let us understand what is an API. Let's say I'm going to take a sample example. Let's say I work as a Java developer and I got a task to design a calculator. So in a calculator, there are various operations available. I can add something, I can subtract something, I can divide something, and I can multiply something, and so on. So I need to develop a calculator in Java. So how will I do that? I'm going to create a class with the name as calculator. Now, I hope everyone knows what a class is. So I'm not saying that you have practically designed a class, but at least you have heard it somewhere that there is something called as a class, there is something called as a object, right? So is there anyone who have never studied any programming, even during the graduation as well? So you can type it in a chat box. Just wanted to check. At least you have heard about what a class is. Okay. That's fine. See, even if you don't know any programming, don't worry about it. Just try to understand the concept today, right? I'll be writing a little bit code today, but you need not to worry about the programming part. You're not going to learn that code today. You just need to understand the concept, and you just need to see what level of programming that is required to work on Selenium. Is it very complex, or is it going to be very simple? You just need to understand the concept today, right? And then once you go through the core Java sessions, you should be able to understand what a class is, what an object is, what a method is. So don't worry about the programming part for today. Yeah, any questions? Okay, so I've created a class as a developer. I'm designing a calculator. So I've created a class as calculator. Now, what do we have inside class? What class consists of?
Member variables
Function,
and member methods.
object, variable.
Methods, variable,
Concept.
database.
Variables, etc.
Correct, correct. So the functionalities that we see over here, addition, division, subtraction, I need to implement these functionalities. So I'll be creating these functionalities in a form of a function, in a form of a method. So I'll be creating a method called as add. And in this, I'm going to write some code which is going to add some numbers. Same way, I'll create a method subtract. I'll create a method multiply. I'll create a method divide, right? So I'll be writing some code inside these methods so that if I call subtract, it is going to subtract some number. If I call multiply, it is going to multiply some numbers. That is how I'll be creating all the functionalities inside calculator class. Now let's assume I've created all the functionalities. Now I want to test whether this addition functionality is working fine or not. So how will I call this addition method from this calculator class? How will I call it?
Creating an object.
Creating an object. What is a syntax that I need to write?
Calculator.
Calculator.
Then use any variable like
Any
new.
variable, like I
C,
can write ABC.
ABC new calculator.
ABC, or let's give it a meaningful name. I'll name
Cal.
it C.
Yeah.
Equal
New
to
calculator.
new calculator. So this is how we create an object of a class. Sorry. This is how we create an object of a class. The very first syntax. And how to call addition method?
Calc.add.
Calc.add. So this is the code that you need to write. If you write this code and if you run it, whatever that is written inside addition method will be executed.
Yeah.
Right? And then if you want to access other functionality, you'll say calc.subtract, you'll say calc.multiply, you'll say calc.divide. And when you run this code, all the functionalities will be executed. The only thing you need to do is to create an object of this class in order to call methods from this class. Now, if I talk about this statement, what is an object inside this statement? So everyone should answer this. What is an object?
New calculator.
New calculator?
Calculator.
New.
Calculator as in this calculator?
No,
CALC.
CAL.
Constructor calculator.
Oh no, this is
Just creating an
reference
object.
There's a class of
New calculator.
This is a reference to object.
The right hand side.
This one is
Right hand
that's the
side.
one.
Right hand side calculator.
Right hand side. Okay.
CALC.
CLC. See, I got mixed answers. Some people are saying this is an object. Some people are saying this is an object. So what exactly is an object in this?
Calc is the reference to the object, but new calculator is the object. Using new keyword, we are creating the object of calculator class.
Okay, that's great. That's great. That's correct as well. So this is what an object. This is not an object. I know many people initially, like when we are getting started, so we know that this is an object, but this is not an object. This is an object reference, you can say. This is a reference to object. This is holding the address of an object. An object is always created whenever we say this. So, okay, there are a lot of things in this particular statement. Let's try to understand each things. What is this? What is this called as?
This is class name.
Class.
Class name.
class name.
Type. This is also called as a type, right?
Mhm.
What is this?
Reference variable.
Reference variable, just a variable, right? What is this?
Equal sign.
Assignment.
Equals operator.
Assignment operator.
Assignment operator.
Correct.
Assignment.
This
New keyword.
and this
Constructor for the calculator class.
Correct. So let us see this thing practically. Right now, we started with Notepad. Now, there was a time when people used to write Java code in Notepad, but time have changed. Many tools, many IDEs are there with artificial intelligence. If we are not good in programming, these editors helps us a lot while writing code. If we make any mistake, they provide a suggestion. If there are thousands of methods inside one class, we need not to learn all those or remember all those methods. We simply put a dot, it gives us a list of all the methods. So many editors are there, some are paid, some are open source. So like IntelliJ is there, NetBeans is there, WebStorm is there, Eclipse is there. So we'll be using Eclipse in the course because majorly companies are either using Eclipse or nowadays there are many companies who have started with IntelliJ as well. But still, Eclipse is very popular, very easy to use. Once you are done with Eclipse, you can try using IntelliJ. A similar approach you're going to see IntelliJ as well, right? So Eclipse is completely open source, no license required, but there is a prerequisite to get started with Eclipse is that you need to have Java installed on your machine. Now, latest version of Java, I guess it's Java 17 or 18, but
18.
I don't recommend you to use Java 18 because you may gonna face a lot of challenges while integrating these components that we have listed down over here while using the latest version of Java. So the recommended version is Java 8 or Java 11. So you can either use Java 8 or use Java 11. I myself is using Java 8 since long time, and I've never faced any integration related issues while using Java 8. See, basic concept will remain same whichever version of Java that you are using, right? Even if you're using if-else loops with Java version 8, same thing you're gonna find in Java 18 as well. So basic, the core part is same in all these versions, right? Just there are some integrations which may not support the latest version. So you need to switch back to the previous version. So you can either use 11 or use Java 8. Now I'm using Java 8. So let's see how to configure in case you want to use Java. So you need to install something called as JDK. That is Java Development Kit. So you'll be going to Google and simply type download JDK. Let's say I'm using 1.8. So go to this Java 8. And here you'll see Java is available in a different platform for different platform. You can, if you're using Mac, you need to download this DMG file. For Linux, 64-bit or 32-bit, you need to download these files accordingly. For Windows, again, 32-bit and 64-bit. I guess most of you must be having the 64-bit itself. So you need to download this exe file. If you click on it, initially it gets downloaded automatically, but now it will ask you to create an account, like do a sign up for this Oracle account. If I click on this, it will immediately not download it. It will ask me to log in through the Oracle account. So it's just a simple process, like create your account. It's a free account. Once you create your account, this exe will gonna get downloaded. And once it is downloaded, installation is very simple. Like you are installing a simple software. Double click on it, next, and Java gets installed. That is the only process. Very simple to install Java. Once Java is installed, you're going to see Java inside your C drive and then program files. You're going to find a folder of Java over here. If you open this folder, you'll see two other folders. One is JDK and the other one is JRE. JDK stands for Java Development Kit and JRE is Java Runtime Environment. What is the difference in these two? No need to worry about it right now. It will be covered in your core Java sessions. So right now, what we need to do, we need to configure Java globally on our machine. See, Java is over here. If you open this bin folder, this is where the Java is. Now, there are many programs that we like have to integrate with Selenium, like Jenkins is there, like Maven is there. These programs will not work till the time you tell these programs where Java is there on your machine. Now, in order to do that, what we'll do, we're going to configure Java. Guys, please put yourself on mute. There is a background noise coming. So what we're going to do, we're going to configure Java in some global location so that whichever project, whichever utility we are going to use, if it needs the access of Java, it can check it from that global location. So in order to do that, what we need to do, we need to set up system environment variables for Java. So how to do that? This is the root folder of your Java, JDK. Copy this, type edit in your search. And you see edit the system environment variables. Click on this, click on environment variable. You need not to do anything in user variable. Under the system variable, click on new and type Java_home and paste this value. Right, so you're creating a variable which is holding this particular value, the location of your JDK. Click on OK, you'll see that this is created, right? Now go down and you'll find a path variable. Edit this. And you should be very careful while doing these configuration. If by mistake you delete anything, then these are your global machine configuration. You can see system 32 is also configured over here. So it may corrupt your Windows if you delete anything from here, right? Or may interrupt any existing running program. So what you need to do, simply click on new at the end and type %Java_home %. When you type this thing, whatever value that you have given to Java home, that value will gonna come here. And what value is that? The value is the JDK folder path. And where Java is, it is inside bin. So what I'll do, I'll gonna point out the bin folder over here. Right? Like I already did it over here. So I'm not going to redo it, but this is what you need to write. Once you do this, your Java is successfully configured globally. Now go to command prompt and check whether Java is configured or not. Type Java-version. See, it is showing Java version 1.8 on my machine. So this is the very first thing that you need to do. After this, you need an editor to write the Java code. So we'll be downloading Eclipse. Simply type download Eclipse. Go to this particular link.
Now, before you go further, like I have Java 19, so should I download 1.8?
If you have Java 19, go to control panel and click on uninstall and
yeah, that I can do. So
yeah,
like
whatever Java 19 that you don't install 2 versions of Java in one machine, right? So just
so I'll
click
remove
on this,
that one,
uninstall it, and then install the Java 8.
okay,
Java 8 or
fine.
11, whichever you want to use, right? And then when you type download Eclipse, so you see this option, you should not be clicking on this, right? Because there are so many components in Eclipse. We're gonna go to download packages. If you are using Java 11, then you can install this one. Because Java 8, this one will not support. So you need to go a little down. You'll see 2021-06. So you need to click on this. And then from here, you'll be downloading this. Windows, like 64-bit, Mac, Linux, you simply need to click on this and you're gonna get a zip file, a RAR file basically, right? It is showing zip file. So you'll be getting a zip file. So see, you need to download either this, or if you're using Java 11, then you need to download like this one from here. So just note down the name, Eclipse ID for Enterprise Java and Web Developers. This is what you will be needing. Either you get it from here, 2021-06, same thing, and download it from here. This is just an editor. You can download this one in case you're using Java 8. So once it, yeah.
Before you move, I have by mistake the first thing that you showed. I have by mistake not clicked on the package and installed Eclipse 06 2022. So do I need to uninstall and then
No,
reinstall?
what is your Java version?
Java 8.
Java 8. And is that working on that particular, your Eclipse is launching fine?
Yes. The
Okay.
Eclipse folder has come and I am able to write the Java program and execute it.
Okay, because as far as I know, I mean, the latest Eclipse is not supporting Java 8. So like it will show you a message that you should install Java version 11 and above. But still, that's fine. If it is working fine on your machine, don't do any installation if Java is running fine. Right? Maybe it may happen that you may have two versions of Java on your machine. So just check. Apart from Java 8, if you have any other Java as well installed on your machine, just check it from control panel.
Okay.
Right.
I have a Mac. Mac I have installed.
Even on Mac, just check if there are two Java or not. Okay. So in Mac as well, I mean, there's a different configuration for Mac. So in case you want to see Mac, the steps of Mac, then you can just refer. You need to set up some, like the way we are setting up the environment variables in Windows. So there is something called as a Z profile that you need to set up. So for that, you can refer this particular lecture. I've done Mac configuration over here. So for Mac configuration, how to configure Java on Mac and Eclipse and then other things as well. So these two lectures you can follow for Mac. And in these lectures, like there is something called as .bash profile that you need to create. So bash profile was with previous OS X version. Now you need not to create bash profile, you need to create Z profile. Right, so in videos you'll see bash profile, but now the latest one is .z profile. So you need to use .z profile in case you are using Mac, right? And follow this configuration.
Thank you.
Okay, so now after downloading Eclipse, we'll be getting a zip file like this. So like once you unzip it, you're gonna see a folder of Eclipse. Open it, you'll see Eclipse. You'll see all these folders. Nothing installable in Eclipse. This is an application, double click on it, and it's going to launch Eclipse. And if Java is not configured, you will get an error over here itself. So first Java configuration, and then you need to launch Eclipse. Now here, like this is something called as a workspace. Workspace is basically a location where you will be maintaining your project code. So I'm going to give the workspace name with a batch name. I'll name it as batch December 2022 and click on launch. So it's going to launch the workspace. Let's wait. And there's a folder created where I've actually given it. It is inside workspace. And you can see all these batches. The latest one is batch December 2022. So here your project's code will be maintained, stored at this particular location. And once Eclipse is launched, it is still starting it. So initially it's going to take few seconds to start Eclipse when you create a new workspace. So this is your welcome screen. Just close it. And this is your Eclipse. So this is Project Explorer. You'll be creating new project, adding classes, maintaining all the hierarchy over here. This is where you're going to write the code, and here you're going to get the output of that code. And these are the things which we can close it for the time being. So this is the area. We'll be learning a lot of features of Eclipse as soon as we proceed with the course. So first, let's create a new project. So now we are working as a developer. We need to create a calculator in order to understand what an API is. So what I'll do, I'm going to click on create a project. And from here, I'll be selecting Java project. Click on next. And here I'll be giving some project name. So project name could be anything. I'm using calculator. So calculator project. Simple. I'm just giving it the name as calculator project. You can give any name. And here, make sure if you're using Java 1.8, then 1.8 is selected, right? It should not show Java 16. And click on finish. Click on open. And see, a Java project is created. If you expand it, you'll see one SRC folder and some JRE system library. If you expand it, you'll see so many jar files. These are Java internal library. You need not to do anything with this. This is the folder where you'll be working on, right? Here you'll be creating new classes, interfaces, adding a lot of functionality. So how to create a new class? Just right click over here, say new, and click on class. Now you'll see another template asking for your class name. So class name, we are creating calculator. I'm going to give the class name as calculator with capital C. Class name should always start from a capital letter. You can start it with a small letter as well. It will not throw you any error, but this is better coding practice. There is something called as camel casing that we'll be following. I'll tell you in some time what is camel casing, but just keep the class name with a capital letter and check this public static void main. Click on finish. And you're going to see a sample code showing up over here. Let me increase the font size. Right, so this is your class. And you can see a lot of things in reddish color over here, something in black color. These are comments, you can remove it. This whole thing is a class, and this is a by default method inside this class. Now you need not to worry right now about what a public is, what class is, what static is. These are predefined keywords. We have big lectures in core Java. Once you go to the core Java sessions, you'll be able to understand why we write public, what is public, private, protected. These things are called as access modifiers, access specifiers. We have static, non-static member. We have void, int, string as a return type to a method. This thing is called as a method. This is a method body. This is a class body, right? Don't worry about all these things right now. These things will be covered in detail in core Java. For the timing, just tell me, like when we start with the very first program, we try to print something. Like if you have ever worked on C, you must be knowing how to print in C. How we print in C?
Printf.
Printf, correct. How about C++?
Print, I believe.
Anyone? C++?
CIN.
See
out. Correct.
See out.
Correct. And how about core Java?
System.out.println.
System.out.println, right? So the very first program of any programming language is to print something. And let's say I'm going to print hello world. This is the very first program, right? Click on the run button. This is the run button. So click on this and you're going to see hello world printed in the console. But we're not here to print hello world. We are working as a developer and we are going to design a calculator. In a calculator, we have seen there are various operations available, addition, division, subtraction. So we need to design all these. So let's create a method called as add. Now, method always starts from a small letter. See, Java itself has started the main method name as a small with small letters, right? Class name, capital letter. There's something called as camel casing. Now, what camel casing says, let's say there is a 3-letter word, something called as the dark night. See, if I write it like this way, you'll not be able to understand it correctly, right? But if it is a class name, it starts from a capital letter. And then any joining letter will be in caps. See, the dark night. This is what is called as camel casing. See, it is in a form of a camel, right? Same way. Now, if this is a method name, it will start from a small letter. Any joining word will be in caps, right? So this is method, this is class. everyone follows the same process. Now, if you try to read the code of any developer, you should be able to understand, okay, this is a method and this is a class. Right? So we'll be following the same practices, same coding practices while creating our frameworks or using Selenium as well. All your Selenium classes methods are designed in the same way. Now, this is your addition method. We are going to write some code inside this to add some numbers. But right now, many of us don't know programming, let's say. So I'm not going to write any code over here. I'm just going to print something. Print something as in adding some numbers. So it means when you call this addition method, it is just going to print adding some numbers. That's it. Right? Same way, I'm going to create a couple more methods and name it as subtract. This will subtract some numbers. Divide. This will divide some numbers. Multiply. This will multiply some numbers. Right? And let's save this. So let's assume we have created all the methods. Now I need to call addition method from this class. So I'm going to go inside main method because the execution in Java starts from the main method. This is the very first block, you can say, will be called, right? Whatever you write over here will be the very first line that will be executed. So what I need to do, I need to call this addition method. How will I call it? We have just seen how to call it by creating an object of a class. And this is a statement of creating object. So what I'll do, I'll just gonna copy this and paste it over here. And see, this is correct statement. There are no errors. Errors, and as in, if I change this to calculators, you can see it turned highlighted in red color over here. So just do a mouse over on this and Eclipse will tell you calculators cannot be resolved to a type. See, this thing is called as a type. So it is giving you suggestions. Create a class calculators. Now, why to create a class calculators? We have a calculator class. So change to calculator. Click on this. I will change to calculator, right? Now, if you say calc dot, it will show you list of methods inside this class. See, one of the method is addition, division, subtraction, multiplication. All the methods are showing. Call the method one by one. That's it. Click on run. You're gonna see adding some numbers. Same way, calc dot subtract, calc dot divide, calc dot multiply. One by one, you can call all these methods and click on run, and you're gonna see everything is successfully executed, right? So this is how we create an object and call methods. Now there is one more method which is having a same name as of the class name. What we call it as? Same name as of the class name.
Constructor.
Constructor, correct. Okay, another question, is it necessary to include main inside class? No, it's not mandatory, but if you have to execute something, that has to be there in the main method. Right, next class I'm going to show you, even I'm not going to create this main method, but how will you execute the code? Either you need to use some framework like JUnit, TestNG, or you execute it through main. Okay, constructor. This is called as constructor. Now, what are constructors? Can anyone tell me what are constructors?
To initialize the object.
Automatic initializer of the objects.
Initializing the object. What else?
Yeah, same name as class name.
Same name as the class name, correct? Anything else?
Automatically they'll be called even nothing.
Automatically called when?
When
Object is
we do not
created.
create the
During
object of the
creation.
class.
Correct. As soon as we create an object of the class, the very first thing that is automatically called is a constructor. So like I said, like this is like a method. I can write some code inside this as well. Let's say calling constructor. right? Now let's call it. How to call it? Shall I write
It will be
calc.calculator?
No,
I'm not
it
going to
will
get
be
it
called
right.
itself.
It will be called automatically. See, as soon as we create an object, or even if I don't write this, I just create an object and run this. The very first thing that will be called is a
Calling constructor.
automatically, right? So you need not to explicitly call it. Now let's come to the same question. What is an object inside this statement? Many people say calc is an object. Let's assume calc is an object. So I'm going to remove this. This is still a valid statement. See, there are no errors. If this is an object, if I click on run, then the constructor must be called, right?
No, it will not be.
How about others? Will the constructor be called or not? If I click on run,
No,
No, it won't be called.
reference variable just.
right? It means this is not an object in that case. So if I click on run, see, constructor is not called. Now let's do one thing. I'll remove this part.
And it
Still
is
a valid
not even,
statement.
It'll be
if
called.
we do a
Yes, yes,
calculator
yes.
and cal,
Sorry?
and it did
It'll
not
be
throw
called.
any error.
Yeah, it is not going to throw any error. See, this is still a valid statement.
Yeah.
So now tell me, if I click on run, will the constructor be called?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
It will be called?
Yes.
See, it's called. So that is where the object is created. So if this is creating an object, then why we need that calculator calc? What is the requirement of this? We should avoid writing this. Just this is creating an object. Why we need
But
that?
here the object is being created, but we do not know
If we want to use
how
that,
we can address that
we
object.
want to
So
use
we
that
need a
for any
reference
other
variable for
purpose.
that.
Okay, why do you need to address the object?
No, later
Because
purpose,
Call
if
the
we
other
want to use
Call
methods.
other methods.
Okay, that's great. So it means if I need to call addition, I would need that calculator calc.
Yes,
Without calculator calc, I cannot call addition.
correct. Either you
Right.
make the static methods.
Yeah, static method, we can call it directly. But I'm not talking
Yeah.
about static, non-static right now. In general terms, in case I want to call addition, I need to have calculator calc. Without calc, can I call addition method? Without
No.
calc, can I call addition method?
No.
No?
No.
I can still call it, see?
You can call it.
Right? See, if I run this,
Oh, okay.
it's going to run adding some numbers.
It's just that you are using some reference variable, which is an easy way to call the other methods.
Okay, is it like an easy way or some other logic behind it? What if I want to call subtraction now?
You need to create another object and call that one. So
New calculator dot sub.
it calls
That's
the
easy.
constructor again.
So new calculator.
It's also
calculator.
using the space again. I mean, memory.
Absolutely.
New calculator
Creating-
is here anonymous object, so we can
Yeah.
use only once.
Yeah, see what is happening over here. If I run this, you can see 4 times objects are created. See, calling constructors called 4 times. So if I have to call 100 methods from a class, I'm going to create 100 different objects, which is not feasible, right? So what I have done, wherever the object is created, I have stored the address of that object in some variable. Variable like, I'm going to give it ABC equal to this, or give it a meaningful name. And every variable must have some type. Like if you are storing value 100 in some variable, value equal to 100. What is the type of this variable?
Integer.
Integer, correct. Integer. But if I want to store my name, can I store it in integer?
No.
Like this. Can I
No.
store it in integer? So what will be
No.
the type?
String.
String. Correct. So every value has its own type. So if we are storing numbers, we should be storing it in integer. If we are storing some characters, we need to store it inside string. So if I talk about string or integer, so what is the string? What is this string called? What is this string?
Class. It's a class.
It's a data type, correct. It's a class. So let's see. Let's mouse over on string and say what string is saying. The string class. String is also a class in Java. It is a data type plus it is also a class. So if string is a class, then what is value?
Value is the
Value is the
name
reference
of the
variable.
data type.
Reference. Correct. If you say value dot, you get list of all the methods inside the string class. See, every method you can see string class. So all these methods belongs to string class. Same way, when we are storing this value, can we store it inside integer? Can we store it inside
No.
string?
No.
It has to be of the same class type. So this thing is called as a type. And this is a reference variable. Now using this reference variable, if you call methods, calc.add, calc.divide, calc.subtract.
Only one object is being created.
Correct. Only one object will be created and all the methods will be referred from the same object reference. So this is your type, this is your reference variable, assignment operator, keyword, and this is your constructor. And this whole things create an object. So these are very basics, although you'll be studying about these from scratch in your core Java sessions. But for today's session as well, it is very important to understand this because we'll be understanding how an API will be used. Now let's assume I've created the complete calculator project. I've tested everything is working fine. Now I want to publish, I want to launch this project in the market. Why? Because I want, let's say I've written 500 lines of code over here. Now, what I want that if anyone wants to do addition, subtraction, he should not be recreating the functionality. He can access my project. And even I don't want to charge, so I'll be launching it as an open source project. Now, open source does not only means it is free. It is free, plus anyone can contribute into the development of the project as well. So next time, let's say if any developer comes in, if he likes my project and he asks me that he wants to add some functionality for calculating square root, percentage, then he's most welcome. He can do it in this project as well. Or if someone wants to do addition, division, then also he can use this project free of cost. Now I want that this project should be accessed from every part of the world. So how will I do that? I'm gonna create
A jar file.
A jar file out of this project. So how to do that? Go to export, click on Java, click on jar file. Next, and give some name. So I'm gonna name it as calculator version 1.0, the very first version of my project, .jar. And let's say I'll be storing this on my desktop and click on finish. So if you see over here, calculator jar is generated. Now, if I double click on it, will it gonna install calculator?
No, it will run.
It's not going to install, right? So this jar file only consists the information, what all classes are there, what all methods are there in the project. Even if a developer has not shared you the code, you'll not be able to see what code is written inside addition method. But you should be able to call the addition method easily. Now, what I did, I uploaded this jar file on my website because website can be accessed from any part of the world. Now, whosoever want to do addition, division can directly go to my website, download this jar file and use it. So how are we going to use it? Let's say after completing this project, I left this organization. So I'm going to close this project. Now I joined another company, again, as a Java developer. Let's say I joined American Express Bank. So they already have a project in place. They already have a Java project. I was hired in mid of that project. So they have a Java project named as American Express project, MX project. And in this project, they have a couple of classes. So one of the class name was banking. And in this banking class, they have a couple of methods available already. One of the method is public void profit. And one of the method was loss. So I was hired in between of this project. Now they asked me to implement a functionality that could add salaries for n number of employees. So something like I need to create a method called as add over here as well. And let's assume the code that I need to write in this addition method is similar to what I've written in the calculator project. Now that was like 500 lines of code. I can easily write it over here as well. But writing 500 lines again will gonna take at least some time, or maybe 1 or 2 days. So
you can
why
add that jar in your project.
Why to add that much extra effort when that functionality is already there in some project, and that is an open source project? I can easily access that functionality and implement it here. So how to do that? I'm gonna right click. Yeah, I'm gonna right click on this project, go to build path, add external archives, and then I'll select this jar file. That's it. See, if it is added as a reference library over here. Now, if you expand this, you should be able to see calculator class. You should be able to see calc, addition, division, multiple, all the methods are showing. The code is not showing what is written, what we have written in that addition. We are not worried about that, right? We need not to do anything with the code. We just need to implement this addition method. So how are we going to do that? Simply by creating an object of calculator. Calculator calc equal to new calculator. And see, no errors. Banking project is able to understand what calculator is.
Correct.
With the help of the jar file. If jar file is not there, if I go to build path, remove it, then how will
Rahul, one thing here, when we are using any external jars, we used to import that package in our class, right? We are not doing it here.
Yeah, because right now I've added in the default package. So that is the reason package importing is not required.
Okay.
Yeah, if I add this in a package, then we need to import that package, right?
Okay, fine.
So yeah, don't worry about the package because I don't want to make it very complex for today. So importing packages and other things.
How have you, Rahul, imported it?
How I added it, right click, build path, add external archives, select the jar file. That's it. And now banking is able to understand what calculator is. Now you can go inside this and say calc.add, and complete functionality is implemented without writing 500 lines of code. Let's change this name to add salary. And now I want to call add salary from banking. How will I call it? I need a main method. So let's add a main method. And then I need to create an object of banking. B equal to new banking. And then I'll say b.add salary. That's it. If I run it, it is going to execute the same code here as well. So just by adding calculator jar, I'm able to access the method from that particular project. And this is what we have to do it in Selenium as well. Selenium is available in the form of a single jar file or multiple jar files. If I talk about this jar file, this acts as an API to American Express project. And Selenium is the same thing. Selenium is an API that consists of so many classes, so many methods, which is already developed by one organization. Or maybe it's an open source to created by different developers. And now it is available for you. You can go over here and download it from here. And what you're getting, see, one single jar file. And now what you'll do, once you get this jar file, you'll be right-clicking on your project and say build path, add external archives, and select this. And that's it. Selenium configuration is done. You need Java, you need Eclipse, you need this jar file. That's it. Now you can automate any website in the world. How? In calculator class, in calculator jar, we have a calculator class. In Selenium jar, we have Selenium classes, like one of the classes Chrome driver. Chrome driver equal to new Chrome driver. Only this code I need to write. That's it. See, no errors. Now what happens if I run it? As soon as I run it, let's see. It launched Chrome browser. See, just by creating an object of this class, it launched a browser. So some developer must have written a code for launching a browser. Where that code is written? Can anyone tell me?
In
Where
any
that
of the
code is written?
classes in the jar,
Selenium
In the jar file. Where inside the jar file?
in one of the
Packages.
class.
Which
Selenium.
package?
In search context.
In search context?
Yeah.
Okay. Where inside that?
I think
See,
if you
search
put the
context
mouse
is parent
pointer over
class.
the
Forget
class
about
name,
that
it will
parent
tell you.
class. Forget about the parent class. We have called Chrome driver class. So the code is written inside, let's assume Chrome driver class. Right? Where inside this class?
If you put the mouse over the Chrome driver, it might tell you where the
WebDriver.
path.
No, I'm saying that's fine. I mean, if I do mouse over it, may gonna give me some suggestion. Right now, it will not give it because the Java document is not attached. If you use some other third-party tool like Maven, then you should be able to see the coding part as well. That we're gonna see tomorrow. But for right now, where that code is written to launch the browser, it is written inside Chrome driver class. But where inside Chrome driver class?
Selenium jar file.
No,
somewhere.
jar file is there. In jar file, we have this class. In the class, the developer must have written code to launch the browser.
The constructor.
Constructor.
Correct.
The constructor.
See, when we create an object of a class, the very first thing that is called is a constructor. Even if you don't write this, just create an object, a constructor will be called, and that constructor is responsible for launching the browser. So a developer might have written some 100 lines of code to launch this browser, but we need not to worry about it. That he has already written. A project is already developed and it is fully tested. It is working fine. Many organizations are using it. So there is no doubt what code that he has written. It is 100% correct. Now, our task is not to look at that code. We are not developing Selenium. We are using Selenium as a tester. So our task is just to create an object of this class, launch a browser, and then by doing driver dot, I'll get list of all the methods inside this class. So I'm just going to call the method one by one and automate my website. So one of the method I'm going to call driver.get. So this is asking me for a URL in a string format. So I'm going to give the URL http waytoautomation.com. That's it. And if I click on run, so now it is going to launch the browser and we're going to navigate to waytoautomation.com. See? Now, if I want to print the title, so how to get the title? Simple method, driver.get title. So this is going to return the title, but it is not going to print it because printing task is not of Selenium.
SOP. We have to use.
Yeah, that is of core Java. So we print in core Java using system out println. And then I want to close the browser. So driver.quit.
Close.
Close, quit, right? You can call these methods. See, one by one, you'll be calling all the methods and you'll be automating your website. See, this is the title. That's it. So that is what Selenium is, right? So no need to worry about the coding part. I mean, everything is already done. They have created the complete project. Now you just need to know what class you need to call, what method you need to call. And in order to do that, your basic programming concept should be built up, right? So once you study core Java, you should be able to clear the basic programming part. And then you can automate any website in the world. So that is how we'll be working with Selenium. Now, in tomorrow's session, we'll be looking at the architecture of Selenium, different versions that we have discussed. We're going to walk through with those architecture, and then we'll try to integrate one more component, which is called as Maven. So why that is required, that we're going to see in tomorrow's lecture. So for today, we're going to do up till this much only, right? For your task is, if you don't have Java configured on your machine, just configure Java, add environment variables, download Eclipse, and try to launch a browser by adding Selenium char file. This is your task for today, right? And then you'll start getting assignments from tomorrow.
Rahul, if I download the Java 8, so should I reinstall my Eclipse as well, or will the same Eclipse will work?
Like if the Eclipse is not, so if you have the latest Eclipse, then you need to check if it is opening fine or not. If it opens fine, then that's fine. Otherwise, you need to switch back.
Okay, fine.
Right, and then you can easily import your projects to that particular Eclipse. So project-wise, you're not going to lose anything. So don't worry.
Can you email those notes which you were written in the writing in the notepad?
Okay, this one, sure. I'll gonna share it with you guys.
Yeah.
So tomorrow I'll be adding some more thing to it, and then I'm gonna share you. I'm just gonna save it. Let's say I'll save it to desktop batch December 2022.
Thank you.
Right.
Rahul, one WhatsApp, another group will be added for us.
Like for the people who were there in the Core Java WhatsApp group, I renamed it to Selenium group. So you'll be there in the same group now. Like I'll be sharing the new meeting invite from next weekend for Selenium. For the people who will be joining new, there will be a new Core Java group that will be created next week, and a fresh meeting invite will be provided. So that will be there in the Core Java. For Core Java, new WhatsApp group will be created. So that will be shared.
Post the recording.
Rahul Chan.
It's very nice.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I'm saying, please post the recording of today's
Yeah,
session.
I'll share the recording as soon as it is processed.
Rahul Janaki here. I am going through because I joined recently only. So the core Java which was ongoing, I was not able to catch up on that. So for now, what I am doing is I'm looking at the home page, and then I'm looking at the Java core recorded video.
Okay.
And then I'm just going through, like I completed 7-8 classes in that, like I was just going through that. So just wanted to get in parallel the Selenium also. So very okay for me to continue with the Selenium batch, or I just wait for Java and then only.
See, in the initial Selenium sessions, very less concepts of Java will be used. So for next 4-5 sessions, we'll be looking at the Selenium methods only. So it's just like if you know how to create an object, how to call methods, and use basic methods, so you should be good to continue with the Selenium session. Till that time, you'll be able to complete rest of the Core Java recordings, and then should be able to follow the Selenium session.
The current one. Okay. Thank you, Rahul. And today's recording, you will be sending us the links where we can find.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So that's all, guys, for today's session. I hope you guys have enjoyed the session and have not got bored.
No, not at all.
No,
Thank you so
not
much.
Very
all.
good interacting session.
Yeah, it was.
Thanks.
So Rahul, one more thing I want to ask, because I know I will face issues while downloading this Eclipse. So the recording we will upload on the video, so it will help me to download the Eclipse, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In case, you should not wait for the recording. You just check the very previous batch, and same session is already there in that batch as well. So you can even go through that particular recording.
So we need to download.
How do I access that kind of a recording?
You need to log in. You need to log into your account, and then you should be able to access this particular course. So here you're gonna find, just go to very last, click on any lecture and go to last over here and follow this particular batch. So this is August, and this is the one that we are doing right now, Introduction to Selenium. So watch this particular lecture.
So we need to download like Java JDK version 11, right?
Yeah, you can use either 8, either 11.
11. Okay, sure.
All right.
Yeah, thanks.
So
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Any more queries before we wind up?
What I did is I typed in the home page. Once I logged in, I said Java just as a keyword, then Java core 1 video came, and that's what I'm following.
Sorry, you're following which one?
I in the home page, I typed in the search bar Java.
Okay, so yeah, there is another. I guess you're following this particular Java course. There is one more Java course. This one. Are you following this one?
This one, it is not the one. When I typed in the search bar as Java, I got a video called as Java Core.
Java.
Yeah, this one, the center one. We just
This one,
finished.
right?
And not this one. Okay, give me a second. Yes, the third one.
Third one,
The-
yeah.
with the black-
So, yeah, these
black
are
one.
also. This is actually taught by a different instructor. So this is again very detailed core Java training. You can see this is like 23 days of core Java training. So this is a very, like a full fledged training.
Yeah, this is the one I'm following, Rahul.
That's fine. That's fine. You can follow this one as well, or else you can follow the one from the recent batches.
The recent batches, I need to use the the second one in this one.
Yeah, you can even use the last one, this one.
Okay, Selenium 4.0. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I will do so. Thank you so much, Rahul.
Sure. So thanks a lot, guys. Thank you for joining in, and we'll meet tomorrow. And same link will work for tomorrow.
Thanks, Rahul.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you all. Bye.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.